Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Oh honey, it's your girl Artisha. I am a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a cousin, I'm an auntie, I'm the owner of 208 Lymphatics. I'm a nurse and also a certified lymphedema therapist. And it's story time, you guys. Let's go get right back and dive into it. If you have not been following me, I have 2 other videos. Look at those first, and in that way you can jump into this one. And if you have been following me, guess what? We're going to go ahead and talk about the after the surgery and whatnot. It's a couple of different things though that I did leave out. I wanted to let you guys know what type of hysterectomy I had, and it was a total bilateral salpingoectomy custom. And what that means is my provider, she still left in the ovaries, so that way it didn't throw me into menopause. Honey, I'm not ready for that yet. And also it was a robotic type of surgery. I just remember the doctor, she's positioned like in a booth, and it's like these mechanical type of hands that she have, and it helps. I guess it's saying it's less stress on the body with them doing that. That's pretty much what I was told. I also remember this consent form that I needed to sign before having this surgery, and I remember like it was yesterday when a nurse was telling me this consent form, make sure this is what this is what this is. You just know that you will never be able to have any more children. And that just always stuck with me, and I was like, damn, like this is real. Like this is becoming my reality. This is what this is. And with this particular robotic surgery, they're saying it's the healing time is a little bit faster with like your typical 4 to 6 weeks. But for me, and everybody's body is not the same. It took me 8 weeks to actually heal. And then still after that, your body is still healing. Physically, emotionally, mentally, all of it is still healing. But I remember when, like I said, when my husband, when we were home, we got home, my mom had our room together. I remember my husband guided me and glided me up the stairs. We have a 2-story house. And I remember that. And I was like, man, this man is strong. I always knew he was strong, but he is strong. And so the biggest things are, making sure before you have the surgery, your house is together to where you're not having, or the caregiver is not having to stress and try to figure out where everything is at. Like that's a big thing. You guys, making sure you're taking that medication on time, because you don't want to feel that pain if you don't have to. Making sure you have your fiber. That's what I remember just taking that, because honey, the constipation and the bloating and the gas is something else. It is real, and it's so painful. I remember just being miserable and in pain. I remember having to do the spirometer, like a breathing, like you're blowing into this machine, and it's a spirometer, and what it's doing is helping you to breathe, expand your lungs. So that was well needed. Your binder, that binder is so important to help with having that pressure, but having it to not, I feel like you're just having, it's just a help. It really helps with that bloating. It helps with the swelling. So that binder is really important. I remember like the incisions, and it was like a clear plastic type of adhesive film, almost like a stitch. And so being able to take a shower, like before you're doing like wash-ups, right? But then you're gonna get in the shower, but making sure you have a type of soap that is not going to cause an infection or reopen it. If I were to do this again, I would have had somebody to come out and do a lymphatic massage on me, actually before and then after, because it's imperative to get those toxins and things like that out. If I can do this all over again, I would have hired a medical professional, like a team, to be able to help with that. Don't get me wrong, my family were amazing, but I felt like I was a burden on them, and day after day after day, it becomes very taxing. I remember not feeling my very best, and I remember like I had this blue emesis bag. Yes, I did vomit a couple times. I remember not being comfortable sometimes on the bed. I had the wedge pillow, but then, or trying to have different pillows to just to help with just being comfortable, right? I remember just, forget I'm going to lay on the floor, because that's where actually it was comfortable, most comfortable being on the floor. These are some things that they don't tell you. Like I said about the constipation, the UTIs, not knowing if you do have a UTI. So that water is so important to be just like down in it. The sex, some people are like, oh, the sex is going to feel amazing. Listen, it may feel amazing to some and may not feel amazing. It's going to take some time. Let me just say that. Depression is real too. Your emotions, having insomnia, that is another thing as well that people don't tell you about. That insomnia is definitely real. So it's really good to be able to have a strong support team. Even it's okay to get counseling if you need that. For those that already had children and they're like, oh, I didn't want any more, I'm good, just take this out. That's one thing. But for those that never had a chance to even have a baby, or wanted to add, to their beautiful family that they already had already, it can be an emotional, mental roller coaster for those. And yeah, have that. You need that support. Like that's pretty huge. Another thing that finances is huge. I was worried about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? Having at least 2 or 3 months saved up is very imperative. So you're not thinking about, your bills and things like that. Thinking about that rest period is so important. But if you can have that, because you think about how long it takes for the disability to kick in. So just being able to have those things, I feel like that would really do you some good. So that way, that portion, you're not focused and concentrate on that. And your meals, you want to make sure you have nutritious meals afterwards, because that's going to help with your healing, speed up the healing process. A red light therapy, that helps too, because that helps rejuvenate cells, but also helps speed up the healing process. So these different things, I feel like, is going to help you, especially with your healing journey. But yeah, again, like I said, my family, they were phenomenal with that. I'm thankful for my family and friends that were in prayer, that were sending flowers, sending different, things like journals and candles, just different things, just being very thoughtful during this time. But yeah, the things that I did eat was yogurt. I was on yogurt like never before, you guys. I had fruit, some vegetables, but soup was another one, because it was kind of hard to kind of eat for me. I was like, okay, I did drink water. I remember the apple juice, like I said before. Oh my gosh, I had apples too, because I'm telling y'all, the constipation is real. And Gatorade. Those are different things that I was on. And I'm telling you guys, another big thing is walking. Don't sit in the bed and just be stiff. I had to move around. And just move around, just moving and moving. I live in Vegas, so you guys, it is extremely hot. So to be walking outside, it is too hot sometimes, especially in the summertime. Listen, it'll be 8 o'clock in the morning, and guess what? It's already 103 or 100 and something. So I was able to move around upstairs, because I was upstairs, and just move around. And then I would call graduated. I graduated to the going downstairs and then walking around, moving around. Another thing I did wanted to say, when I went to my post-op appointment, I never forget this with my doctor, and you guys, I'm in the process. I'm already looking for another OB, but I never forget this. This was my post-op, and she's like, "Oh, you're looking pretty good. Everything's looking pretty good." And then she looks like, "Oh, you have a yeast infection." I'm like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know that. That's another thing. You don't know if you have a UTI, a yeast infection, like those different things you don't know, because it feels differently. It feels differently down there. And you could tell I was just not like in a best mind frame, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel sad. Even though they did all this stuff to me, it felt like something was getting ready to be taken away again, right? So my doctor's like, oh, well, do you need Prozac? And I was like, No, this lady didn't. Prozac? I don't need no damn Prozac. Excuse me, but I don't need no Prozac. Like, are you kidding me? And I just was like, you know what? At this point, I've had it with this office, and so it's, don't let these people just be putting stuff and trying to guide you into taking all these different medications that you don't really need to take. Another thing, I just was a mess. Another thing I did like a detox tea to these herbs. So all the medication I was taking, I needed that stuff to be released from my system actually as well. So yeah, it took me about a good 8 weeks to actually heal up. And yeah, that it was wow. But you know, it's still a healing process. Your body is still healing. Your mind is still healing. You know, emotionally, everything is just still healing. Again, make sure you do your research of who's getting ready to do your hysterectomy, and all that kind of good stuff. So the good news is I'm also coming out with a guide, a hysterectomy guide. And this is going to be for those that are thinking about having a hysterectomy, already have an appointment, or after hysterectomy. This is going to be so helpful. And again, like different questions that you may have, it's going to be in there for you. And I think that if I had this, I feel like my journey would have been way better than what it was. And so even, you know, just the whole overall journey, it would have been good. So again, keep your head up. And thank you so much for wanting to know about my story. Hopefully this is connecting with you. Maybe someone you know is going through this or have gone through this, and maybe they need just extra guidance or extra support. And hopefully this can help them. All right, you guys, until then, be great and stay blessed. Bye.